attendance feeling?
Yeah, better maybe than we originally thought. But it's going to be a week anyway. How that falls in the schedule, and I don't know by games, but he's out at least a week, and we'll go from there. We're taking it, because something like that happens, you don't know the spectrum of what it could be. So we're actually in a good mood about it today.
Looking at that, this team has so many centers throughout the lineup.
Oh.
Lundy seemed to flourish there last game, but how does it kind of change how you guys look at the entire lineup in terms of how you go down the middle?
Well, we have people to come in and play center. That's not an issue. Right, the silver linings of injuries is that we ran it for the first 13 games of the year, right, with both those defensemen and Sam out, and we've played playoff games with Bennett out, with Barkov out, so we have a pretty good template of what the lines look like. You saw most of it. We'll fool around with it a little bit maybe, but there's nothing really new that's going to happen. All the players have played with the guys tomorrow night in the past, so it's, you want to stay healthy. Every team's trying to, but every team's going to have players come in and out of the lineup, so we just deal with it.
One thing Lundy's gotten really good at this year, big improvement from last year's faceoffs.
Yeah.
10% from last year,
right.
60% or so in the playoffs right now. How much more confidence does that give you with him as a second-line center
with
winning draws like that?
Because you're the difference, and this isn't always true, because sometimes third-line centers are checking centers, and they're fantastic draw men, but the 1 and 2s are usually really, really strong, especially on their strong side. Having him able to go out and do that, they'll get more D-zone starts than they would have because of Anton's face-off numbers now are good.
Ryan Lomberg feeling a little bit better today.
Yeah, he's on the mend. Is it possible for tomorrow potentially? We just want to make sure, we've been running it all year, so we got a pretty good game plan template on how many hours you got to go symptom-free before we'll let you back in our room. So I think the jury's, I'm sure he's not here this morning, but he could probably bribe his way onto the plane, maybe.
How many times did you go back and watch that Bobrovsky save? I'm showing it.
I didn't have to. It's everywhere, right? You can't open your computer, turn on the TV without seeing it 10 times. So I didn't have to watch it in the game. I saw it 1,000 times. Those are great little. No, I shouldn't minimize it like that. That's well, people say it would be a lucky save. I mean, that's a lifetime of working your ass off and the ability to know where your body is, so that mentally you wouldn't quit on that play, that you would stay and think that you still had a chance to stop that puck. The desperation is the most beautiful part about that.
And afterwards, he was so bothered.
Oh, well, yeah, just another day in the rink. Yeah. I think, though, I sense an ease and a peace about him that was different even last year, possibly at this time. Like what he did last year for our team, and then really what he's done this year with Anthony. He feels, certainly he feels appreciated because we appreciate him. I mean, he knows how important he's been to us, but I think he loves that connection now. I don't even know if I love the connection. I feel the fans chanting his name. I love it. I don't think Bob processes it at all, but I think that's an awesome tell for how important he's become to the fans and to our team. So I love it.
Quite a role reversal for him. I mean,
yeah, that's fair. I can't kind of go back prior, George. I don't know what I mean, but I was in the league, so I had a pretty good handle on what was going on. And then just kind of the year that he had last year. I mean, we were grinding a little in December and January with everything, but with goaltending too. And then everything just got better. They all got better together, and he's been just a huge part of that.
Well, how neat is it that the save, obviously in the hockey world, everybody immediately took notice.
Right.
But there was also a lot of crossover. Like, it's on morning newscasts.
Yeah.
This morning, and where you ordinarily wouldn't see a Game 2, Round 1, mid-game highlight.
Right.
That's, I know you're not worried right today about growing the game. You have other things on your plate right now, but just how neat are these moments when you can reach a different set of people than run-of-the-mill highlights might?
I think it's critical. First of all, I got lots of time. We're not playing a game right now, so we can talk about that stuff. I think it's fantastic for down here. There's probably, I don't know, there's a number of kids in the driveway this weekend. They all want to play goal for the first time, right? I mean, that's how for me, that's how it happens. They see something kind of magical. They all go out and try it, right? And then they'll have 5 kids, and there'll be a street hockey game going somewhere, and everybody's going to want to be Bobrovsky, but they'll be flipping around in the net trying to do the spinorama kick saves and Well, that's what we did when we were growing up, right? Everybody wanted to be Guy Lafleur, and you'd fly down the ice and try to take a slap shot and it knuckle to the net, and that's what's great about being a kid, and that's how you grow the game. Is you get some kids see something and that the people that they think are cool and they try to emulate it. It's a good thing.
Well, from a momentum standpoint, twofold. The save that Bob made, Carter's goal in overtime, just moving forward, knowing how tough this series will be.
Yeah.
And you got to go to Tampa.
Well, let's start with that first word. I don't think this is a momentum series. I just don't feel it because we've had stretches where we've held them off the shot clock pretty significant blocks of time, and then that does not make them less dangerous when they get the puck or they get the power play. So you are never feeling it, as you say, where you're on top of them or they're on top of you. It's a slog, and when the whistle goes, the next lineout has to be ready on both sides, because both teams have enough heart in them that they're going to compete on the defensive side of the puck. It's going to make it difficult. Neither team is going to come off that. And then each team has 5 or 6 elitely skilled guys that'll you just got to give them some room, and it's in the back of your net. So I don't feel there's any momentum. We needed to, as people will tell you, you got to win your home games, but there's a pressure to that as well, and that part at least has been accomplished. And it's behind us, and it's not part of today. So we spend all the time talking about how do we handle our day, and that's how we'll manage all those things: the momentum, the injuries, the ups and downs of a playoff series. We'll handle it in 24-hour blocks.
Coach, we're going to give that save a ton of attention and for Hague goal a ton of attention and for good reason, but to kill off the double minor in the third period, just 4 minutes of a great penalty kill.
Right.
How much of an impact or just kind of a game changer was that for you?
Yeah, I think though the two most important blocks for us winning in the first 2 games was the first 3 or 4 minutes of the third period, right? We get a power play goal in game 1. We've been struggling on our power play a little bit. So for confidence, and that's the go-ahead goal. And then when you get into the third period, and if they score, that's the go-ahead goal. So you don't appreciate your penalty kill because you don't get the go-ahead from a great penalty kill, but you do, right? Just beat the hell out of that. The idea would be the penalty kill is equally as important as the goal that we scored in game 1. Both those things are where I would look at the game change. Clearly the save. But even if that puck goes in, we had one not far off that kind of, Vasilevsky had made, the seam play on Kachuk. There have been plays at the other end, so you can almost trade those. But for the team game, I thought it was the first 3 minutes of the third period in both games.
As far as Bennett goes, do you expect him to be able to return this series if it goes long enough? Or, is he even going on this trip?
He won't come on this trip. He's not playing the next 2. I can guarantee you that. But I'm going to say it's a week. I don't know how that schedules out, and that's a fingers crossed kind of. But came to the rink fearing that it could be something more sinister and longer term, and got to the rink and got great news. So it's kind of like you get a phone call and says your car's just been in a car accident, and then you find out it's just a little fender bender. You're okay with that, but if you came and said somebody gave you a fender bender, you'd be pissed. So it's all relative pain. I'm good with it. We're good.
As far as depth
That wasn't the
goes,
best, but it wasn't far off. It was right. Were we okay?
looking at the depth you guys got, you talked a little bit about it yesterday. How do you plan on playing that? Are you just going to slide everybody up and move?
Yeah, the starting point was Lundell goes in for Bennett, and we slide the centerman up. Lorenz goes into the middle, and we'll bring another forward in based on health.
Is there a fine for Montour for causing the fender bender?
Is that who we're blaming?
You guys Geico.
I don't know. Do you know what though? Like, he felt bad, eh? Like, I wouldn't. All joking aside, like Brennan. Not that he played his ass off in the thing. He wanted it so bad. He everybody knows how hard they work, and everybody knows, like, the pain isn't the injury. It's the idea of missing playoff games. Like, we just went from mid-August to here to get to this point. That's a tough pill to swallow, and you feel like you're. So I think, he cares about his teammates, and it bothered him, but he channeled it the right way, went out and worked his ass off and did everything he could to help us win.
One thing, I don't recall if it came up last night, maybe it wasn't quite as dramatic as Game 7 in Boston, but the stop Bob made on Duke, I think,
Yeah.
in regulation, that somehow got overlooked in all
Yeah.
the millions of great things that happened last night.
Yeah, there was more of that. There was a bit more of an open game, right? You got Ekblad on a breakaway, and then you got Duke on a kind of a knuckler. We almost had a stick on him, but it was a nice shoulder save. I think I said this last night. You go through that game, and there's overhead views. There's lots of different angles to watch the game. Both those goalies are so good in that game. And the ones that didn't look like much might be the best saves for the amount of work that you had to be technically right by the time you got there, right? There's some outstanding saves, great goaltending, for sure.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.